Hey everyone, what's happening? Welcome to driving in a blizzard in an old E53 X5. Today I'm going to be taking our 2005 E53 X5 for a little drive around, and we are in the Fairfield County, Connecticut region of the world, and we are slated to get somewhere around 18 to 24 inches of snow, which started last night around midnight. And that's going to continue going all day at the rate of up to around 2 inches per hour, which is, from what I'm told, pretty significant. And so we're going to see how much snow we get in the next day, which will end tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. Some of you guys may not know this, but in Connecticut it is legal to drive an ATV on the streets. Just like that. That guy's having fun today. It is legal to drive snowmobiles, I believe, and the ATVs on the road in blizzard conditions like this. And that is one perk, I guess, of living in Connecticut. Now, the car that we're in right now is my wife's 2005 E53 X5. This is the first generation X that they made, and we had been considering selling this not too long ago and upgrading it to an E70 or something newer for my wife. But after driving it through our last snowstorm, where we got about 10 inches, I decided that this car is going to be handed down to me. I will basically buy this from my wife and put that money towards a newer E70 X5 for her to drive. And really, driving this through a snowstorm will convince you, when you're considering selling one of these, it will convince you to hold on to it. And so my car right now is a 335i with rear-wheel drive, and that has snow tires on it, brand new Pirelli Scorpion snows. And I can tell you, in this condition, even with the snow tires and some weight in the trunk, it is terrible. It really does not go anywhere, even in maybe 2 or 3 inches on the ground, compacted, which is what you're seeing in front of us right now. And this car is incredible. It's really a tank in the snow. It's great for basically holding on to all of the things that you need to do, like shipping packages, going trips to Home Depot, road trips with the family, camping. This car really does it all. One of the other things I love about this car is the fact that it's an SUV. The roof overhead in the summertime blocks all of the sun directly onto your baby or children's faces in the back of this car. And so in the sedan, my 335i with the slanted window in the back, it really makes it challenging to continually be blocking the sun from your child's face. And it's also much more difficult to put a child in a car seat in the back with that sloping C-pillar going over the back window. And so this, by design, is much easier to lean into, especially if you're on the taller side like I am, and it's easier to put your child in the car. Now, this is the tricky part here. It looks like we're going down a pretty steep hill. We have some town plow truck up ahead. Maybe we can put our hill descent control on. Well, I will say this is the first time I've ever used this hill descent control, and this is working quite beautifully, I will say. I'm letting off the throttle here, and it is applying the brakes at all 4 corners and slowly guiding us down this hill. That's an excellent feature, and in 5, almost 6 years, this is the first time I've ever used that, so we'll turn that off now. But yeah, good for you, BMW, for basically getting all of this technology from Range Rover, Land Rover, which they purchased, I believe, in 2003 or 2004. And if you're not familiar with that, it was probably one of the worst financial purchases at the time. At the height of evaluations for companies, BMW purchased Land Rover, Range Rover, and got access to all of the patents and technology in SUVs and off-road capability, which was, patented, protected. BMW couldn't just copy it. It would have had to have been licensed in order for BMW to take some of that tech and put it into this X5. So they did what any other German company with a lot of cash would do. They said, well, we'll just buy the entire company. We'll rip off all of the technology. I joke when I say rip off. Really, they acquired it fair and square. But they took all the tech, put it into this car and the X3, and then resold Land Rover, Range Rover as soon as possible because it was basically a toxic asset. And that's basically the short story of how BMW was able to acquire a lot of the years of engineering, design, and technology from Land Rover to put it into this car. And just further evidence of that is the transfer case actuator motor, which is on the transfer case on these cars. I believe not only does it fit this and the X3, but it also fits quite a wide variety and range of a lot of other Land Rovers and Range Rovers. And we're going up quite a steep hill right now. This is challenging. That FedEx truck is going to have trouble at the bottom of that hill. So we're going to cut over on this street, and this should allow us to get back home without having to go down too steep of a hill. Now, you guys may have seen my buyer's guide on the E53 X5 where I kind of bash it a little bit, talking about how expensive this car really has been over the last 5 years and us trying to maintain the car with things breaking all the time. In fact, you may have even noticed in the other camera direction that the service engine light is present on this car. And the service engine light has basically been on and off every month or so as soon as I fix a repair, and then another issue comes up within a few months, basically since we've had this car, on and off. But that doesn't change the fact that it is a beast in the snow. It's a real tank, and I am really starting to like this car more and more, and it's growing on me now that I'm a dad. The utility and the safety that this car presents to us and offers over a small, low-to-the-ground 335i with complicated fuel injection and turbochargers, which is amazing. The performance is really an incredible value, but those things aren't reliable, and those cars aren't known to be really reliable and not have a high incidence of breaking down on the side of the road. Now, while mine hasn't broken down yet, I still don't really trust that car in terms of putting my daughter in the back and my wife and taking that on a long trip. But I think I would take this X5 anywhere. I would drive it across the country to my family who lives in Chicago in an instant. And I think despite the little things here and there that break on these X5s, they're still pretty reliable overall. And I think that this car is really a great buy right now, as the prices are somewhere between anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 or $6,000. $2,000 or $3,000 being ones with the V8 that have a lot of problems. Stay away from those. But the better one to get is the ones with the 6-cylinder engine. Get something with low miles, well, low by my standards, around 100,000 miles. You can find those online for between $5,000 to $6,000. And that's really a great value compared to getting a new car, really any new car, even a Kia or a Hyundai or a Ford or something, and making a car payment of $500 or $600 a month. And so for those reasons, this car is something that we'll be keeping for the foreseeable future. I really am falling back in love with the E53 X5, especially on days like this in the winter when, you want to go for a drive like this out in a blizzard and you have places to get. This is the car to take you in. Now, my other car is a 2007 335i, twin turbocharged, slightly modified. It's very fast, very fun. It has a set of brand new Pirelli Scorpion winter snow tires that the previous owner put on right before he sold the car to me. And even with all those things and some weight in the trunk, that car barely moves, and it's really scary to get through the snow, even a few inches of snow like is on the ground right now. And contrast to that is this X5. It's much heavier. This thing is built like a tank. When you close the door, it feels like you're closing the door to a bank vault in Germany or something. And that type of build and the weight of everything, it's really heavy, just adds more weight and traction to the car as you have that four-wheel drive system pulling you through. And so another nice feature of driving an SUV is the ride height. There's plenty of ground clearance under this car, soon to be a little bit more, I think, when I add a lift kit potentially, or some new tires and wheels to this car. But yeah, overall, these are great cars. They have a lot of value to offer, despite the plethora of small things that continue to go wrong week after week. But aside from that, I think I would recommend this car right now as the new value buy for anybody to consider when looking for a car, especially if you have a family. I think the sedan is all but dead in the market today. I don't know anyone who's really enthusiastic about buying a sedan. SUVs are where it's at. And yeah, this is my future new car once I can find something to replace it with for my wife. Well, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching the snowfall here in southwestern Connecticut. Let me know where you guys are in the world. I know we have some viewers from all across the 50 states here, and Alaska and Hawaii. We have viewers all over the world. There's something like 5% of my viewers, maybe 7%, are in Germany, which is pretty cool. Oh, guten Tag to you guys. And yeah, drop me a comment below. Let me know what the weather's like where you are, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.